So that's where the release comes from. It doesn't mean that you're quitting everything and starting over, but what you're actually doing is you're going through and looking at maybe systems that you've outgrown, platforms that you're not using,
Mhm.
strategies that just don't work for your business model right now. Because a lot of things have changed in direct sales and business overall. That I think this is a perfect time where we can release some of the things that just don't work any longer. Welcome to the Other 99% podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Duck, a coffee loving direct sales enthusiast who's obsessed with a good digital system. Come join me for a realistic look into the world of direct sales. We'll explore inspiring perspectives, learn about unique business tips, and celebrate success stories that often go untold. Because on the other 99%, every seller matters. Hey everyone, it is me, Lisa, and welcome back to another episode of The Other 99%. I'm here with our co host, Susan Larimer, and today we're going to talk to you about something I think that's very timely for this time of year. And it's actually a new framework that we thought up, but it's something that I think is going to help you when you sit down and try to reflect and plan forward on your business. So we're thinking about this as going back to school. It's bringing up the 3 R's again. Everybody knows that, the R's, even though they're not really R's, are they? It's like reading, writing, and arithmetic. but
Arithmetic.
but we've coined the phrase of reflect, release, restart. So we're going to go through what we mean by those three topics of the framework, and hopefully it's going to help you sort of plan out where you want your business, or where your business has come from, I should say, and where you want your business to go. So I just sprung this sort of on Susan last minute, and I said, hey, you know what? This kept me awake all night, but I really think we need to talk about it. So let's just have a conversation, Susan.
Yeah, I love this idea. And there's always something very special about the time between Christmas and New Year's. And sometimes it can be really busy, but I feel like that week everything kind of slows down because you're done shopping, you're done wrapping, you're done with the big meals, and then you have almost a week of downtime. And I love to take this time to, like Lisa said, to reflect on the past year, to let go of some things, and then to plan and look forward to the next year. And this is one thing I'm going to say it now because when I listen to the replay, hopefully I'll remember it. My neighbor did this, and the on Christmas, I'm sorry, on New Year's Eve, she makes it a point to watch the final sunset of the year. And I love my sunsets. So I have it on my calendar. Watch the last sunset of the year, and just that visual of the sun setting on the entire year, reflecting and releasing, and then maybe catch the first sunrise of the next year and new
Mm-hmm.
beginnings, and you're ready to go. So I love me a good sunset, so I have it on my calendar. Hopefully, it'll be a clear night that I can watch a really good sunset. But we're excited to walk you through these 3 R's, kind of guide you along with some questions to help you with the 3 R's. And, I'm really excited about it. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. And we want to, when we're talking about reflecting, a lot of people sit there and think of it as, I need to criticize what didn't work in my business.
Mhm.
What wasn't working? Let's just tear it apart. And that's not really what we mean by reflecting. It's a lot about, you want to just sit there and take take note or collect information about things that you have done over the past year. It's not about oh, I should have did it this way, or I should have did it that way. It's okay, well, this is how I did it. What did I like about it? What didn't I like about it? And the biggest thing is when you finished it, how did you feel?
Mm.
Right? Did it energize you? Did it just
Exhaust you.
exhaust you? Yeah, because it's like, I just finished something that I had on my wish list or my to-do list for a very long time, was to get a course done and publish. And I just recently hit the sort of the play button on that, and it's ready to go. but it wasn't one of those things where I sat there and I said, "Oh my god, I'm so thankful that it was done." It was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful it's done. I can't wait to share this with the world," right? So to me, when I reflect on that, even though it took a lot of work, a lot of focus on my part, making sure that I got it done, crossed the T's, dotted all the I's, I still came out of that with a positive energy. So when I reflect on that, was that something that I want to do again? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And we have some questions we can kind of guide you through, things that you should reflect on. So, what actually moved the needle in your business? What was something that you worked on and that you felt really good about? Because things can move the needle in your business, but they were still exhausting and took way too much energy and life out of your business,
Mhm.
too. So, think about what event, and I like to go through like my Cint share history or my Facebook scroll or look at the, information in my back office, the party orders,
Or
and
your
really think
calendar.
about
Like, go to
yeah,
your
your
calendar.
calendar. Yes.
Mhm.
So what event or campaign or sale or special or fundraiser did you do that really moved the needle in your business? It grew your customer base, maybe it grew your team, maybe it grew your sales. So look back at that. And then what are some other questions, Lisa?
I mean, some of the things that you could think about is, you know, your time spent versus the results that happened. So some people might spend a month planning out like this exciting event for their customers. And it's like, oh, this is going to be good, only to get one sale, right? Is like, was all of that time invested in making the images and creating the posts and doing all this thing? Was it worth it? And I'm
Yeah.
not saying not don't get me wrong because I'm not saying that one sale wasn't worth it. But did you come out of it with that excitement, like to say, "Yes, I'm happy with the results," or was it like, "Oh, well, that was a waste of time," right?
Yeah. And sometimes you have to really be critical of the event too. You know, was it fun to plan and create this big event, but it didn't lead to much success? Sometimes we can be like, oh, that was really fun. But when you really look at the numbers and the results, it wasn't worth it. So that's where it gets a little tricky because you really did enjoy setting it all up and creating it and, inviting people. But in the end, it wasn't really successful. So you might have to
Yeah.
let something like that go, which we'll get to in the next R.
Yeah, the 3 Rs, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, look through your camera roll. That's another thing I like to do in order to see what events or, you always take pictures of your fundraisers and all of those things. So look back at your camera roll and remember, okay, this is something I want to do again, or this is something that, you know what, I think I can let this go.
And I think this is a point where we say it's very important to take notes in your calendar. Whether you're using
Really.
a digital calendar or a paper calendar, take notes of things that you're doing because not only will it help you reflect, it will help you plan better for what's happening next year. And just a little plug for our next episode, you need to make sure you tune in because we're going to talk about, planning ahead and getting your calendar all set up for 2026. So that's
Yeah, so
that's to
get
come.
yourself a paper calendar. Get a paper calendar, even if you print out monthly sheets from your printer, have a paper calendar ready for next time.
I actually have, I was looking through my freebies on my site and I found a digital download with a calendar. It's a monthly calendar, a daily calendar, and a weekly calendar. And so I'll put the link in the show notes so that you could go and grab it. It's free. There's just go in, put your email in, and you can just download that. But it's all set up with goals and trackers and all kinds of stuff. So it would be good to have for the next one. And I know these podcast episodes are actually going to be airing like right before Christmas, this one, and then the next one is right before New Year's. But like Susan said, this is usually the slow time in our business where we take time to reflect and build upon our business to make it even better going forward into the new year. So we thought that it was just timely to put them in to these time slots.
Yeah. Yeah. So that first R is to reflect.
Yeah,
Are we ready for the second R?
I think so. because
Okay.
this one is a big one. Um, and many of us think, oh, well, this is going to mean that I just have to get rid of everything that I'm doing, but that's not the case. So the next R is release. And when after you've reflected, you're going to look over some things there. It might be systems, it might be events, it might be anything in your business. And you're going to sit there and say, okay, what actually worked and what didn't work? And what will I not be moving forward with going into the new year? So that's where the release comes from. It doesn't mean that you're quitting everything and starting over, but what you're actually doing is you're going through and looking at maybe systems that you've outgrown, platforms that you're not using,
Mhm.
strategies that just don't work for your business model right now. Because a lot of things have changed in direct sales and business overall. That I think this is a perfect time where we can release some of the things that just don't work any longer.
Yeah, for me, I like to look at my calendar and I have a to-do list, an ongoing to-do list. And if something has been on my to-do list day after week after month, it's time to release that and let it go. And I love what you said too about looking at your systems. You're paying for a lot of
Mhm.
monthly subscriptions. So look at the ones that are really helping your business, and if they're not, or if you're intending to use it someday, but just haven't used it yet, let it go. Free up some of your finances as well.
Yeah. And one thing that I found when I was like in the thick of direct sales, I always felt like I had to pick up a system because everybody else was using it,
Mm,
right? And maybe I wasn't using it to the fullest like they were using it, but why was I paying it just because everybody else was using it, right? So think about that. It's like, do you have something? Are you getting a monthly bill for something just because everybody has it? And I think the number one thing why a lot of direct sellers will do that is because, say, their upline is using a system and they could share templates or they could share something within that system. But if you're not using that content that is being shared, why bother?
yeah,
Keep that money
it's
in your
okay to let it go.
pocket and figure out a system that works better for you, because everybody's business is different. And like we said this before, there is no cookie cutter approach to direct sales.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I released recently in my private members only Facebook group, I had a star contributor. And every month I would look at the analytics from Facebook, and whoever commented, liked, shared a post the most, I would give them a $10 gift certificate. And it was great. In the beginning, I had lots of interaction, but what I found last year, probably the last 2 years, it's the same 2 or 3 people
Mhm.
just commenting to get a gift certificate, which I appreciate. I appreciate their interaction. I love that they're with me and supporting me, but I was like, this isn't really what I intended. I intended more interaction with the members, not just one person. I don't know, it just became a little, unauthentic. It just
Mhm.
or forced. So that's something that I let go, and I let people know, this is gonna be my last month doing this, but I was able to start something else instead. So look at, the things that maybe are getting stale. Maybe it's out of habit and routine instead
Mhm.
of with purpose and energy. So look at your Facebook group if you have one. Look at how you interact with the community. And just it's okay to let go of things, and it actually feels good. And sometimes you need to like maybe write down something and actually throw it away to have that visual, that physical evidence of you releasing something and letting go. Because some of those habits, they're hard, especially some of the mindsets we hang on to. We talked about imposter syndrome on one of our previous
Mhm.
episodes. Those are hard to let go, but if you really sit down and identify why you're afraid to let it go or what you're holding on to, sometimes it makes it easier to actually release it. And this isn't, some of it's not easy stuff. Some of it's really sitting down in a quiet place and reflecting and being able to release things, knowing that every time you release something, something more amazing is going to be started. So,
Yeah.
but that takes a
Yeah.
lot.
That's great. Now, I just want to give you 4 questions to help yourself or to ask yourself um, when you're sitting down and actually thinking about, this phase of the framework. So, number 1, am I doing this out of habit or intention? That's very important, and that's we
Yeah.
touched on that briefly just a minute ago. Um, Another one is if you stop doing this, is anybody really gonna notice but you?
Mm,
Like,
that's
I
a
could
tough
think of
one because, yeah,
yeah. I could think of a lot of things where it's like, we're like, "Oh, I can't stop doing it," and it's like, you ask people and it's like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that,"
I
right?
know. That hurts
I
a little, doesn't it?
It's like, I took a lot out of my day to make sure that got done, and it's like, "Okay, we appreciate you,
Yeah,
we really
we
do."
put way too much emphasis on things. People don't notice as much as we think they do.
Yeah. And like I said, that our business changes. And really, our business changes every year. And when I look back like 20 years ago, my business then to what it is now, I could sit there and ask myself, does this support my business the way I want it to be now? Not back then, but now. So
Yeah,
that's another important question.
yeah.
And the last one is what am I afraid will happen if I let it go? Like like cuz I feel like we always have that fear behind us, right? That fear is a bad thing because it's, the fear of failure, the fear of people coming back to us and saying like, "Oh, like Susan, you're not giving away those gift cards anymore. How dare you?" Right? It's like
Nobody has
nobody's going to
said
say
that.
that. Nobody's going to
Nobody noticed,
we have it
except for the
all in
one
our
person who was
head.
getting it.
And that person, it's like, they might have been a good customer, but they're
Yeah,
probably going to still buy without that $5 gift certificate
right,
or whatever you
right.
were giving. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
think about it. It's like, yeah, what's going to actually happen if I let this go? Am I going to feel more relieved? Am I going to be like, I can finally breathe again? Or that's one less thing that I have to worry about getting done every month? Or I think back of when I had a team, you know, at the beginning of the month was very stressful for me, more so than the end of the month, because I needed to make sure that the recognition got out and I didn't want to forget anybody. And, I needed to send out the prizes and I would hate for somebody to be waiting too long for the prizes. And that was very stressful. Was it important? Yeah, it was important. But half the time, my team didn't even thank me when they got a gift in the mail.
right.
Right?
Yeah,
So that was
yeah,
a little like that hit me hard too because it's like I made sure that I cut my month, the beginning of my month. I cut a big block of time out to provide this service, this recognition, and just a little Facebook message saying, "Oh, thank you so much. I got this in the mail." Mind you, some of my team did, but not everybody, right? And yeah, that was like that hurt when that happened. But
yeah.
what can you do?
Yeah, I think we just need to think about, how to keep your team fresh and how to keep your business fresh. And if you're doing the same thing month after year, it gets stale, it gets predictable, and it gets boring. So think about those things that you can really let go of. And then next we're going to start to talk about the last R. But anything else you want to say about the release?
I mean, when you release, you're just basically making space for something new, right? You're not actually giving up on anything. You're not giving up on your business by any means. You're just changing
You
things
haven't
up.
failed. It's not a
Exactly.
failure on your part. It's not negative at all. I think of it almost as an exhale. You know, you're inhaling what we're going to do next, the restart, but this release, it's a physical exhale for your business.
Yeah. I like to think it like, when you look at yourself and me, like when we're sitting there and comparing, like business wise, I think we're at the same level, like customer service and everything. But if you put us side by side, our businesses are totally different on how we, provide our customer service, how we sell our products and all of that stuff, but we're still having the same success. So when you sit there and you look at releasing, it's like you look at things that I can't incorporate something that is working for you if it's not working for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm failing at my business. So think about that. It's like, yeah, you're just making space for what works for you, what allows you to create momentum and grow your business in the way that you want to grow it,
Yeah,
right?
and sometimes I look at other consultants, in my same company, and I see how hard they're working and all the things they're doing, and then I look at their numbers and my numbers, and they're the same. And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Okay, I'm barely working, like, I've got my systems in place, I'm working smart." But I feel like they are so exhausted getting the same results that I am. So that's why it's so important to take a hard look at your business, what's working, what's not, what you can do differently, um, and letting go of the things that are not serving you.
Yeah, and I love that you said your business because we definitely want to take the comparison game out of this whole framework. You're not comparing yourself to what other people are doing. You're comparing yourself to you and you only, and you want to make sure that what you're doing moving into 2026 is going to move your business forward, move your needle, not necessarily, oh, can I adopt that, or can I implement this, or can I do this? And sometimes when I'm on group calls or something like that, there's certain people who take the information and they have to implement everything they hear.
Mm,
It's like, I don't, that would stress me right out. I don't know about
yeah,
you, right? So I give you permission to only implement the things that you feel strong about, not just because somebody else is doing it, but something that you actually feel strong about. Because to me, if you have too many things going at once, you might not actually get the same success as if you niched down or narrowed down, right?
yeah. And that's easier said than done because all those new
It
systems,
is.
they sound amazing. You're like, oh my gosh, I need this. But you just started a new system last month.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that takes a lot of discipline.
On those planner pages that I was talking about, there's actually a section that I have and it says to do, but not right now. So you can write it down
Love that.
so that you don't
Just
forget
table this,
it.
put a pin in it.
Yes. And it's there so you don't forget
Yeah.
it, but you don't
Yeah.
have to, you give yourself permission to let it just sit there. Let it sit there
Yeah.
and simmer. And if you come back to it and you still have that same excitement, you could definitely pick it up a couple months down the road, but
Yeah. I
not right
love that. I
now.
feel a sense of freedom, like a burden released. I love that.
Mhm. All right. So let's go on to the last R, which is restart. So I don't want people to think of this as, okay, I have to redo everything in my business, start from scratch. That's not what we mean by restart. What we actually mean is that you're going to just basically start implementing new systems that might be working. If there's a system that you're currently doing that's working, well, is there a way that you can tweak it?
I said earlier, when you release something, you're making room for something else. So now you have this space that was consumed by another system or event or fundraiser that you don't necessarily have to fill it. We don't want to fill your calendar to the brim, but you have an opportunity to introduce something new, something fresh. I love those words: restart, fresh, new, growth, all those things just feel really good in that space. So,
Yeah.
but you have to go through all of the other phases first. You have to reflect on what's working, what's not working. You have to release the things that are not working, and then you can restart your business in some way.
Yeah. So if we pull this back to, like, maybe the reflection stage of the framework, and you're sitting there thinking, it's like, "Oh, well, I didn't really have a great follow-up system for my customers," right? um, Maybe during your restart phase of the framework, you're going to, okay, well, now I need to implement a new customer care framework. And that's where I highly recommend you go check out what Susan has is her Susan has amazing customer care. And like she said, it is simple. and it's in a system, and it's basically works for her on autopilot. There's a little bit of fine tuning that she has to do at the beginning when the order is placed, but everything just falls into place. Maybe that's something that you need to start or restart now, is a good customer care system. Um, could be like lead generation. It might be something where you need to start pulling in leads, because let's face it, customers, like, they come and go, right? And unless
Mhm.
you're meeting new people, maybe your business is going to start to plateau or even dip a bit if you don't start to bring in new leads. So think about ways, like, when you're reflecting, how are you bringing leads in 2025? How can that change going into 2026? Do you maybe need to try a different platform? Do you need to maybe get back in person and do events? Do you maybe need to do home parties again? There's all these different ways to look at how you can restart or reintroduce things into your business going into 2026 to make it even better than you can imagine.
Yeah. And we have some pretty savvy listeners on here. Our direct sellers, you're savvy and you've got systems. So I'm willing to bet that everybody listening has some idea that has been in the back of their mind for months, maybe
Mhm.
years, that they're thinking, okay, I have released this. I think now it's time that I can start this. So we would love to hear what that idea is and how you're going to implement it. But I bet everyone has that idea, and make sure it's something that you're excited about. And
Mhm.
look at the potential from this idea or system or campaign or fundraiser and think about how it can grow your business in 2026. Make sure you feel the excitement. But I bet there's that idea that you've been simmering on for a long time. So maybe this is the year, 2026, that you're going to really start and dive in and commit to it.
Yeah. So on that, I just want to say you can drop a comment in on YouTube or Spotify, or I think you could even do it on Apple Podcasts. I don't know. I've never really checked. But you can just drop a comment there and let us know what you're either reflecting or releasing or restarting. We'd love to hear from you. You can always jump into mine or Susan's DMs on Instagram or Facebook. Feel free to come and join us, follow us, friend us, whatever you'd like. We'd love to have the conversation over there. But we hope that this episode has helped you um, sort of plan out what you want to do between New Year's or Christmas and New Year's, I should say, to get your business 2026 ready. All right,
Yeah.
everyone. This was exciting. Actually, the more and more I think about it, it's like super exciting, this topic and this framework. And I think maybe we need to expand upon it and maybe put something out there. So stay tuned. But again, we'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The Other 99%. And we'll see you again next week. Take care.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Other 99%. We just want to say thank you. It truly means the world to us that you're here. Lisa and I absolutely love creating these episodes for you, and we're so grateful to have you in our community. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to like, share with a friend, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We drop fresh content every Tuesday. Got thoughts, questions, or ideas? Leave us a comment. Want to be a guest on the show? We would love to chat with you. Apply by clicking the link in the show notes. Thanks again for spending time with us today, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Other 99%.